looking back at your summer league from a year ago, how much did that prepare you for this first regular season?
I think it gave me, a sense of confidence, going out there and kind of shaking off the nerves and going out there and playing in front of the home crowd. It kind of got me going. And then when we got to Vegas, it kind of accelerated. It was for 2 games. It just got me a different sense of confidence.
Is there a memory or a moment from that summer league that stands out to you?
Probably the Boston game was pretty big. It was the intensity was there from the fans, from the players. So it was pretty, and we came back and won. So I was pretty excited.
Did you ever watch that highlight of you against Tatum, the spin?
No, I don't watch it as much anymore. I haven't gone back and watched it in a while, but it was definitely a different moment for me because there was a lot of excitement behind it. But I haven't gone back and watched it in a while.
What was your first impression of the Utah crowds, even though it was just summer league?
Man, it's just summer league, and everybody's out here supporting. Even same thing this year, and it's consistent. And I think that just shows the dedication from the fan base.
Saw you on the bench, talking to guys, had the clipboard. What are you trying to impart at this point?
One, sharpen my mind, when it comes to the plays, but also just teach, and whether these guys play for us or not. Another guy I'm close with, Lonnie Walker, who plays for the Spurs. I'm talking to him throughout the game. Just find ways to see guys have success. I know I've only played 1 year, but genuinely I care about people's success. Seeing guys shine, and especially for a guy like Grayson coming into this situation where he can thrive. Going out there and teaching him every little thing that I can. So he comes into training camp and he already has that advantage that I didn't have coming into, or basically the advantage I had coming in to when I had the coaches tell me I'm telling him.
Could you have imagined being this close with Grayson Allen maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago?
Definitely not, to be honest. Everybody's pretty much sure with our back and forth. But the one thing about Grayson is I respected him. And people ask me who's the toughest guy I've had to go against, or who's one of the best players I've went against is in college basketball, it's him. When you have all the negative connotations about your name, and especially in college, you got to go through all that on ESPN. Then you got to go to class. Then you got to walk and see everybody, and then still out there get 30 points a game. That's impressive to me, and I think that's where I gained a lot of my respect. And after the game, I told him how much I respected him, and that was my sophomore year, so 2 years ago, technically. Yeah, 2 years ago. So that's one thing that we carry about each other, and now that we're on the same team, it's going to be a lot of fun.
You've been all over the world this summer. What places they visited that stood out? Any crazy stories?
I love the Philippines, for sure. It was just, I only went there for 1 day, but it was pretty amazing. Just the way they received me, and being there in their country was awesome. Serbia was great as well, going to see the EuroLeague Final Four, different environment, different basketball environment. It's very much like soccer, but it's in a more enclosed environment. So I love those trips for sure.
Talking to Trey about his time in Germany, and you kind of shared that. Does it give you a different perspective to go to those places?
It does. I saw a lot of the plays that we ran out there, and when they ran it, so you kind of see where Coach gets his stuff from, and it gives you a different mindset of how they play basketball, and just the culture as well. The culture is completely different, and it's definitely a great experience to go out there and see.
Saw the Instagram story of the fans refusing to leave. Has it just been crazy for you all summer, just in terms of?
Man, I've had to hire extra security. Now I can't. Last year around this time, I was in New York City working out, as like everybody saw with Melo and JR and all those dudes. Can't walk from the train station to there anymore. So it's a lot different. Whether it's in LA, New York, or wherever I've been, it's been a blessing to have that reception of people, but things have definitely changed.
Going all over and representing the Jazz, is it a responsibility, do you feel like, to kind of be that ambassador?
I don't take it as a responsibility. I think it's just one of those things that I just love to do. And I think playing for this organization and being a small market team, Rudy does a great job of it, and I look to him and I look at what he's done, when he goes around, whether it's in France or in the States when he's in California, the way he reps the Jazz, I think I've just taken that upon myself as well to kind of go out there and do the same thing. But I don't think of it as, man, I got to do this. It's just something I just have fun with and enjoy.
Do you think it will help the franchise to have you guys out there like that?
I think from a fan standpoint, getting fans throughout the country would be definitely different, and I think in a good way. But as far as getting guys like free agents, I think we're on the cusp of doing that. Obviously, we talked about Paul George a lot, but definitely we're going to be in the mix for a lot of different guys because people see, one, how we play, let alone the state or whatever it may be, how we play, the organization, the Dennis, the Millers, how everybody is treated, and the fans are wonderful here, and I think that'll be big coming in the future.
What was it like being part of the draft this year and all that media stuff? And that's something you could see yourself doing in the future?
As far as being like on the camera, I think I like doing it. It's fun. I love talking about it and love doing like interviews and stuff like that. It's really fun. But to see those guys out there, and I know pretty much all of the guys who got drafted, and it's pretty cool to see them go through that same experience I went through, and just to be there. And I talked to the lottery guys the morning of the draft just to prepare them for the next 24 hours when they got drafted, what not to do draft night, stuff like that, just to prepare them. And I think I love doing stuff like that.
How long have you been out of the boot at this point?
A while. It's been a while for sure, maybe about a month or so. Yeah, but I'm feeling good. I'm getting back to it and starting to pick up my workout, so I'm excited.
Anything specific you want to work on this summer?
It's better defensive player for sure. Being able to pick up the slack that I didn't really have this year. He's being able to do a lot more on the defensive end for sure.
If you would talk about Dante, Fave, and Howell just individually, I mean, what about Fave coming back?
Fave coming back. He's an unsung hero in a lot of our games this year. Game 2 against OKC. Pretty sure it's game 2. Yeah, game 2 against OKC. The game against San Antonio. Those are the two that jump out on my head. But he does all the little things that you don't see. So when people outside of the Utah Jazz and the Jazz fans like, wow, he got that much. Like, yeah, he did because he deserves it. He's one of those guys that works hard, is continuously working. Had the knee problem, came back and is still doing great things alongside with the Defensive Player of the Year. It's tough, having two centers, and for a guy that can accept that role, accept being the second towards Rudy, it's definitely a testament of his character, and he's put in the work to become who he is.
About Dante?
Man, I'm happy for Dante. First thing I hope he sees is he's going to pay for the next 2 dinners, I hope. So, but I'm really excited for him. He's got a lot. He's shown so much, even in the little spurts. Whether it was the Houston game, playing, and when we played summer league, dominating. Taking over games. Before he even got hurt in preseason, there was so many things he was doing well. When he came back, I think it was the game against Memphis. You can see the flashes. And when he's healthy, which he will be, God willing, and he's a special player, and I'm really excited to have him.
How about Howell?
And Raul, he's a guy who does the little things. Fortunately he's been hurt as well a little bit, but he does all the little things. And he's helped me become a better point guard as well as Ricky, because there's certain things that he does to escape pressure and to do all to get crafty finishes, because he's a smaller guard that I've taken from him, and kind of watched film on him. So to have him back, and he knows the game, knows how to play, and can't help but have another international guy in the Jazz. That's our theme. So I'm glad that we have the Dante and Raul back, as well as Fave.
Still relaxing, or are you anxious to get back in the swing of things and play next
both.
season?
A little bit of both. I'm excited and anxious, but my body is used to being off for about a month, so now I'm trying to get it back into basketball form.